last week I made a video where I predicted where I thought the new Tokyo Revengers episode would go. The video is up there, or if you don't want to click on that video, I'll just explain it. I thought that they were going to get to the end of the dockyard fight, and they didn't even get halfway through. Takamichi didn't even get a showdown yet, and Mikey didn't even show up. So, wrong about that. But I think the problem is that in season 1 and 2, I would have been correct. That's where the episode would go. But because of the pacing of season 3 was a bit different than season 1 and 2, that the prediction was wrong, and I was going off of how season 1 and 2 would have done things. Now, if you don't think season 3 has a little bit of a pacing problem, then just let me know in the comments below. But if you do, tell me what you think the issue is, or why do you think the issue happened. And I think the issue happened because of animation, but I'll get to that. I'll get back to that later. Now, what happens where I want to criticize the pacing is that there are a lot more shots in this season that are just still frames with camera pans or zoom. Now, this is prevalent in the beginning of this newest episode. Not a lot happened. People sit around, people talk at the dockyard. There is even a period of time where absolutely nothing happens. No one says anything until Kisaki breaks the silence and says, "No, he will come." So, like, there are long periods of silence and still images, which, compared to previous seasons, did not happen as much or did not happen at all. I I think there are still a couple examples in season 1 and 2 where it does happen, but definitely not as noticeable as season 3. So at the dock, as I said again, Saki and all of the gang members there are a lot of points where pause, nothing happens, no one says anything. And then somebody breaks the silence, and then the story seems to go on from that point. I think the reason for so many still shots is that the animation budget has been cut. Compare the fight scenes from season 1 and 2, where every single punch feels impactful, to the fight scenes of season 3, where it seems like the hand teleports back and then teleports into someone's face, and then teleports back again, and then teleports back into somebody's face. There's no build up, no force. You don't feel the punches, and it doesn't give you the same feeling that 1 and 2 does whenever fights happen there. Now, the end result is still the same, right? You get to see gang members battered and bruised after every single fight, but the actual fight does not seem to correlate with the injuries they get because there doesn't seem to be that power in the punches. There was no inertia, no drive through. It just seems like the hand is teleporting back and forth. And there is where I think probably the animation budget got cut, which is why the fight scenes are the way they are, why the pacing is the way it is, and why there's a lot more still shot. One example of this, again, is another Kisaki scene where he's standing, he was sitting at the water tower, then he stands up, and he's asked, "Hey, why did you take out Emma? Usually you'll have a proxy do it. Why did you do it yourself? Doesn't fit your MO." And Kisaki just sits there, and nothing happens for a period of time where it zooms in, and he just responds, "Well, I mean, that's what you're worried about? I just took out your sister," right? And I understand that's a diversion tactic. He doesn't want to answer the question, but it doesn't take a pause of, I don't know, 12 seconds or so. Doesn't take a pause of 12 seconds or so to convey the fact that he doesn't want to answer the question, and then him diverting attention to some other topic, which he does. We could have maybe, what, 5 seconds of him thinking about how to respond, which is a lot better than what we. I mean, it felt like a very long time when he's on that tower, and I understand it's just an intro sequence, and it wasn't actually that long. But if it feels long, it it portrays that feeling, and I don't think it's only me. Now, coming from a person that is a fan of Tokyo Revengers, I really don't wish for the weird off pacing and the animation to get people to say, "Oh, one or two were great, but because three was bad, I'm not going to finish the series." I mean, I don't know how much more they're gonna make, seeing that the manga ended, and I think the ending might sour a couple of people. I mean, it really undid a lot. I mean, well, I wouldn't say a lot. It undid all character development besides Mikey and Takamichi. Those are the two characters that remember everything, and that's it. All of the other ones, brand new, and all of that character development lost. So I do understand that the ending is a bit, you know, it will drive people away, but I don't want people to judge it until that very end point. And if the animation is not as good or as crisp as 1 and 2, mirrored with the weird pacing of the season, I don't think the majority of people that were here for season 1 and for season 2 will go all the way to the end. And that's a shame. I wish they would, but it really depends on what the animation studio does now. And I do get that there are certain points in this arc that they could end it on that would be a cliffhanger to get people to watch the next episode. But with the animation, as I said, a lot of people really just go in for the visuals. And if the visuals aren't as good as they used to be, and the story is being told through exposition, which it is in the manga, but in an expositionary way where it's just still frames, I don't think people will stick with it. You could see what happened to Shield Hero Season 2. I don't want that happening to Tokyo Revenge. That being said, I think the next episode we will either see the end of the Mikey fight or Kisaki escaping on the motorbike. I think that's the two places that they could get some sort of cliffhanger for people to watch the next episode, which is kind of funny because now more and more every single episode of anime ends in some sort of cliffhanger. At least the shonen one. And so there's where I'm getting the idea that they're probably gonna end at a cliffhanger, and it's Saki escaping on the motorbike, or right after Mikey finishes his fight, and there it is, and that is that. Maybe they'll go all the way to the isekai truck, but I don't think so, because if they go all the way there, then it doesn't set up the next bad guy until the next arc, and I think that would be a mistake. So I think they're not even going to get close to the wind down. They'll finish the dockyard fight, Kisaki escapes. Anyways, the next topic I will review for next week would either be Midway 2019, that is the war movie of the Pacific, um, which follows the story of Dick Best, or Greyhound, which is a fictitious war movie on the Atlantic Ocean. Midway, obviously, Pacific. So there's that. And I'll choose one of the two, and then the one that I didn't choose will be the week after that. That's when I'll review that. And then video games at the earliest next week, and at the latest 2 weeks from now. That's the unofficial schedule of the channel. You want to see the initial predictions, as I said, the video is in the end card. If you want to see a FNAF movie review, then it's probably on this side. Not sure. If it's not on this side and they're both over there, just click one of the recommended videos, and that's that. Okay, bye. This is going to be the last time I attempt this, so if you're seeing this ending, yeah,